Ebusia, papa bi try say anko ohye ne yere ne ma na mesrem before say be go sensem no yenhwe we yansa.
Onua kase gist abaya ya mede na etusu ye friend be the best. It's alleged say wenya HIV enye me na meka ene na ne ex girlfriend na ka say wenya HIV chechire nchi ane etimu amone ni date ya mugusu amone ni date no wenya HIV Ghana ha yeso we say HIV na doso omukotete ni wa brochire ho ana yeso omode aba Ghana hanum say gay ya woda so yi wo ye lesbian otafri twemu ti say de otafra abenkwan aboa wonko na otimi ye lesbian boka be the best. Abaya ti se wa wo maame awo a e wo senka wo fa be mama be ma fa wa wo baako afi de wo so wo ye lesbian ni wo na wotwia Mr. Wotwia mesro ko na ko twiti wo ho yare no HIV ni abaya be the best na me ka kire wo say wo paduru anom de abra na me ma obi abusunya mo share video we ma no mo amone ne nante mo amone ne to nsa didi wanya HIV is alleged ne ex girlfriend ne kan ye wose wanya HIV a okura ne results nyina wose se ye boa omra no omebodua be the best wutika kraka wuti se de wo so wiase kwase ya ba bi ti se wo wate abuwa wunni onfa ne bunko sha asemando ho wate
abusunya for we eya asema asi o Sehwi adwofo I say papa be a friend Frenchman on any year net here. Omanya asem on any year anya asem kakra and oban say on tun free me fie. Yan kwate ne plako pa de san ya say papa ya ko topa tulu. What the best in ne ba o mti fie ha. Nyankopon on pebo ni ma me nsu ne ba yi. Sa da bibi ka ma me na koma on ne ba no manda fie anti. E dan ti mi she. And I need to see America say, I shake sa papa ya friend Frenchman, all police for a catch it, I was say you are do for. To any daya, papa your friend Frenchman, or I should know a daya on any yele, and then about a mutima. I some cacrasu or muntama, Frenchman so on Tiasia. Frenchman, I could talk part through, and I bet she dino. I said, I could have Diana, she could have. Dine di ashi kula dino ashi kula ashi 3 bedrooms ashi Frenchman ashi dani si amino ka say no pay go pay wo around no be hwe no omo ha nyina nyade omo ha no ma me na nikune Frenchman ha ne dan ashi no ni nia ba ni gina wo ni sister pa ni gina ho ka say tiwe there si o adwofo sama si o adwofo si a me no kasa be ma ne ti oba ne nchen na one na oba na nya kasa oba ne se ontimi ne ntina bi mu ama be ma ko to patu da o dia be chi dan ya o mutimu ti abusu afo de si e wo Sehwi adwofo Western North region si a eni.
What are we doing with the re-registration?
We're not doing a re-registration, we're doing a SIM registration. Okay. You see, you re-register something that was previously registered.
But we registered at L.
No, you didn't do any registration. You didn't do any registration. The former minister just wasted everybody's time.
Oh, I went through, I'm talking my person.
I'm saying, yeah, she wasted your time.
Biometrics.
Listen, the government of Ghana says that we have one single source of truth for national identity, NIA. The National Identity Register held by the National Identification Authority, the Ghana card that we hold. That's a single source of truth. The registrations that were purported to have been done under Eslawusu and the NPP did not cross-reference the biometrics they took from you against that database.
They didn't sing them?
Nothing of that nature was done. She was fighting Kenatefa. Battle of clash of egos.
Okay, how is this going to work then?
So now we have sat down with the Minister for Interior and his head of agency, Yaira Kuku, at NIA. We've worked out the integration between the telcos, the regulator, the NCA, and the NIA. And that's why I'm saying that, look, you're not majority of Ghanaians will not have to queue. Because what we're going to do is, we're now taking, we've tried to pick up from the telcos all the biometrics they collected. It was sitting in databases scattered all over the places. We've picked those databases and we're now cleaning them up and cross-referencing them with the NIA in the back end. So for about 80% of that has been done. We will be able to identify and say that, okay, your fingerprints you submitted at LWAC, where you say you went to, we've picked it from your service provider, we've cross-referenced it against what you gave to NIA, and we see that they match. So then it means that since there's a match, there's no problem with yours. We'll send you a prompt to authenticate that that number is yours, and we'll register it for you. For those that there is no match, the same way you book an appointment for passport services or visa services, you will book an appointment at your service provider and go. So you won't have a crowd of people lining up and queuing up there for 3 days and end. No, you have an appointment, you go, your details are taken, and it is done.
What's the rationale for
digitalization.
this? Why do we need to?
You need to deal with fraud. Look, we're having several instances where people are using SIM cards for all kinds of things that are illegal. And that's why we're not just doing the SIM reg, we're doing the SIM reg along with a second policy directive called the Central Equipment Identity Register. So now when you register your SIM, your phone is also going to be registered. Every phone has a unique IMEI. So the IMEI of your phone is synced to your SIM card. So when your number is flagged, today, the cost of mobile money fraud is 10 Ghana cedi. That's the cost of doing mobile money fraud. Because if your number is reported today to us and we block that SIM card, it costs 10 cedis to get a new SIM card. They just go and get a new SIM card. But if we now begin to block the SIM card and the phone that's associated with that, it increases the cost of doing that.
But we're in Ghana, people buy off-the-shelf phones. So it's not like
if your phone, if the phone's IMEI is not on, if you bring it into the country and it is not registered on our system, it will not.
You sure that's going to work?
It works everywhere.
Why do you need a special purpose vehicle for that?
What special purpose vehicle?
You said there's going to be an entity that's going to do that.
We're doing that at the regulator. All of this is going to sit with the regulator.
Okay.
The regulator has service providers who are providing the service, but it's owned by the regulator.
Okay.
That's the difference between us and the previous administration. The previous administration gave it to private companies to do it. No. Whatever anybody does, it's for the regulator. The NCA owns the data and holds the data.
At their behest. They would
absolutely. The NCA is contracted. They will manage the entire system.
Just about a month or 2-3 ago, there was all this concern about the is it amendment to the cybersecurity law? There's a bill, etc. What's the whole intent?
Okay, so when I took over the ministry, I realized that some of the legislation.
All I knew was that they said you will not allow me to do TikTok videos.
That's not true. That's not true. You know what people have done is they've taken the bills, the draft bills that we've done, put them in AI tools and say generate a response for me. I mean, if you're asking AI tools to generate interpretation of legislation, you end up with all the misinformation that people are putting up. And that's the reason why one of the new legislation we are bringing is a misinformation and disinformation bill, so that people are careful the kind of information that they put out. You cannot just sit there and peddle untruths. Look, I keep saying that legislations are not Mills and Boons novels. You don't read them like that. They're pieces of law. And some of the things people are screaming about are not new provisions. They're already in the existing act. We are strengthening the act, and look, we are being transparent. We've done a zero draft. It's never happened before in Ghana. Quote me anywhere. No ministry has done a zero draft and put it out publicly and said we want public inputs. Most times, public inputs are only sought after the ministry has completed its work in secrecy, gone to cabinet and gotten cabinet approval, and it gets to parliament. It is parliament that asks people for public memos. This is the first time a ministry is opening itself up and saying, because we have nothing to hide, because we want public input. So my point is simple. If you think there's a provision in the legislation that zero drafts, submit your input. This weekend, in fact, starting from tomorrow, the ministry with all the law firms that are working on the 15 pieces of legislation, we're working on 15 pieces of legislation, it's not one, 15 new pieces of legislation. All the law firms, all the technocrats from the 15 agencies and the ministry itself are all going to be in a residential meeting for 3 days to take into consideration all the inputs that have been made. We've received over 300 inputs across all the legislation. We're going to
Ragati asamaba sese yaba be piemu ewo doma na afei na mati ase ade kronti amena na doma hene wo kasa ode nsa esi ne bo. I think say Ghana wasi yetimi ko hunu doma hene na wo kire ye kwan a ofa so a wode ayi ne kuro ne se sese kuro no eye nita nkase ba bia befa bia hu ben wonante amena bro so a maybe 2 minutes ube hu bi no so chese emu ye ni street light so ewo ba bia eya me ya say minute time me de beye dey ebegina hanom ache na menim say one day there I will come here and do a full video about this place. Chale me say my impress afi na mehu ade kronti adoma hene amanfo etai e complimenting sa chale wa wunim baby adoma hene etibia ka che ne say ne nana trouble ene me se me chia no na senka minim na hemfie hono mo a mia kasa mekwa akodafo makasa na tietia me so na wa boju se kronum emu efa nkasa eye very neat se enye kronum ne mu ye kokko se Ghana de wawani to bebe bi fa bia ho ye kokko enye sa kokko na se anka doma de anka broche complete but baby abefa bia every 1 minute bia ka we ade so hye bi odoma asem but doma hene me bo abaso why ade wa hwe okro ni yi arvide
japade no bi ho aye court account account bi yoko for ni ho di msato so bi ho a omo yensa akaba bi a yensa na no de nyame aduma next week edu ebeko ho court na ya ni court akokasa se yes court omo so ehwe ni nka no ho se mai chema utumi cas bi ewo abayise abayide nsato so na the film bi so ho abayide nsato so na ni nyina obe yesa ni be nyina gina mra bi so na de mra no so e kire kwaye so fa so enti ne ya ye ni aba fom kakra wo criminal trial e ba behwe sa you want to say prison no akoso na ya hwe mra no a obugina so be na ya hwe mra so kwenye maye se saban di sa to bi so a kwenye wo ho se ye ma asem no court na kudi ho asem fe ye be hase aye sa idumani nyina ne akoko to se mra krono a mugina so a de busato ade so sa mra krono a hu kwan se nipa ye de sato ni japade so onso so eje ahome efriko
Ebusia ne chese we ni di etwa gumsumfu Josephine ma mefa munsi ahas